Hello there. It is April 2025. I think it's like the 17th. We've got the tulips coming up that I planted in the fall. And the entire garden is being ripped apart. Yeah, it's been a interesting winter, and we had a pretty severe ice dam. So that has to get fixed, and then we had this pretty severe ice storm, and a tree fell on my shed. It is still standing. It does have a hole in it. But we've lost another tree back here. Like, it came from here and fell this way. And I'll throw in some pictures. And yeah, so that had us investigating if this big boy is safe, and it is not. So it is coming down on May 15th, and I am just happy to be outside again. Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to talk about losing our daughter. I think I'm just going to talk about my garden, because this is my little escape from the stress of life. So I have been moving everything in the garden. I have an entirely new plan. I will show you I made a scale map on graph paper where 1 foot is 1 square, and planned everything out. I am tucked up on my heating pad with my cat after gardening, but I said I'd throw in the graph plan of the garden, which already got wet. But anyway, by my pinky here, you can see that's going to be the deck. There's the patio. That's the plan for Addie's memorial garden. And the bottom by the shed, in the middle, beds, which is coming up in the video. And then plans for the new generator after the ice storm. And then this big line across is the clothesline, which I always forget about, so I made that prominent. And then the beds that are in pencil were like subject to see if they fit and where they fit. And I actually thought I had more cedar beds than I do, so that changed. But that is the general layout, and a lot of this will not be very interesting visually, except for Addie's area. So on the left is a green wood arch, and then if I can fit it in there, the hammock. I mean, it works on graph paper, but I have to see if it works in real life. And then there'll be the 2 ponds, which you'll hear me talk about in a bit, and the weeping mulberry and the crabapple. So that's the part I'm most excited about. It helps with the grief when I get to do stuff that makes me feel connected to her. So yeah, that's the plan. Back to the video. So this area here is going to be the memorial garden for our daughter, and I'm going to be pulling both ponds off the side of the house because there's so many things being renovated there that it'll be in the way. So I'm going to use I call it the bean pond, sorry, I can't even see my hand, I'm going to be using like the bean pond here, and it's going to waterfall into a bigger pond in the ground. But I can't do that until this tree is down, because I will hit roots and I'm going to cut through them. But I don't want to do that while the tree is still there. So that's that. This whole area will be Addie's Memorial Garden, and it'll have a pink crabapple, and it will also have a weeping mulberry bush, or not a bush, a tree, and it'll be kind of layered, and I have a lot of ideas for it. It'll have all our favorite flowers, and the tree stump is going to be cut off at about 3 feet up, and it's going to be turned into a fairy house, like a fairy tree stump, if you've ever seen those. And obviously all the mushroom logs have to come out of there. So yeah, that's the plan with this area. I pulled out the beds and I've moved them. So one of them came apart because I didn't have L brackets on it, so I just laid the logs on the ground to frame out the flower bed there. These 2 beds have been moved and are stacked over there. They will go between the stump and the compost area eventually, but again, I'm not going to put them there because they'll probably get damaged when they drop the tree limbs. So this soil will be moved into them, and there will be fruit trees there. And I am going to experiment with going full urban permaculture, and by the time I'm done putting the plants in this spring, there will be 14 fruit trees in this garden. Some of them will be espaliered, yeah, that's how you say it, on the fence here, and I'll show you what that looks like in case you don't know. It's this. You see how they're being trained along the fence? So that's a pear, and I've moved the other pear here, and there is also a rhubarb somewhere in the ground here, but I moved this white currant here. I'm hoping it's alive. I think it is. And I've spaced out the Haspkaps more, and we took down the arch, if you remember, if you've watched any of the other gardening videos. So this area, because it's out of the way of the clothesline, will have a bunch of fruit trees. The raspberry patch is staying there, but basically the point of the stuff growing on the fence is to create like a living fence, kind of like a hedge. Most of the plants that are in here are staying in here. Just kind of shifted them around a little bit. And then this bed was up under the clothesline, and so right here is where I stand to do the laundry, and the bed was like right here, and I moved it down here. The placement's a little bit awkward, but I decided to go with keeping the beds under the clothesline, because then I have a visual cue not to plant tall things there, because I constantly forget about it. So this will be like a annual vegetable bed along with these 2 beds there. And then when I get the metal beds here, they will be planting like really tall stuff like corn and stuff, because we're getting so much more light from this. I guess there was a tree here, so there's just so much light now. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. There will be a deck built off the back of the house, which is why the ponds and the beds are moving. I don't think it'll be built this year. I think it might be next year, but I wanted to move stuff because I don't want to keep planting perennial plants where they're going to get ripped out. So the deck is going to go from this line to the edge of the patio here, all the way to the fence. So it'll be just a big rectangle for like it'll be easier to hang laundry. So this pond is also getting pulled out, and in this back corner I will build a little platform, and the ICB water tank will get the water that will be diverted off the roofs. and any perennial plants that are in these beds will get moved as well. So it'll be very nice to have like a wooden deck here with the barbecue on it and stuff like that. This is the new herb bed and Addie's memorial garden, and I have some plans for some greenwood arches that I'm going to build. And there are, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 trees in the garden right now. So I have 8 more coming. I actually think they ship on May 5th. So I have to find the spot that they will go. This is the only tree back here that will move. So this tall, skinny one is an Illinois mulberry, and it will get very tall. I am going to keep it pruned, but it is not a good idea to have your laundry over a mulberry tree because the fruit is really bad for staining. So, but other than that, the stuff that's planted here, like there's a Saskatoon here, this is a black cherry, and there's a peach, and the mulberry's gonna move. There's still lilacs planted back here and hydrangeas, and that little circle bed that I had pumpkins in, I put sunchokes in. Thankfully the tree did not kill all of my plums. It did hit this tree and there was damage, but I've just trimmed it off. You can see like there's a couple broken branches. It also hit the cherry, but I think it'll be okay. It has a little bit of damage on the bark from the branches hitting it, but it's all good. I don't know if I will have a proper mushroom setup on logs, like the ones that are the red wine caps that grow on the ground will be fine, but I don't know that I'll have enough shade for mushroom logs, so we'll just have to see. But yeah, it's a absolute mess right now, and it feels so good to be outside. I don't care, it's part of the process. I did pull all my blueberries from along the fence where I showed you the Haspkaps, and they will sit in pots along that fence because I'm having a hard time keeping the soil the pH that they like. So eventually my plan is to pull up these paving stones and have a proper blueberry hedge, and I'm just leaving them in the barrels for now because there's also the chance that we will have a fence soon for privacy, and I don't want to disturb them again. So yeah, that's the chaos. I'm looking forward to it, and I will put down in the description all of the plants, like the perennials that'll be in the garden this year. This bed is almost gone as well. I might throw something annual in this year that I don't care about losing if we end up getting the deck. We'll see. So yeah, keep you posted.